r/AskReddit, what has been the most destructive lie in human history? The lead in this gasoline is perfectly safe. Plastic is easily recyclable so long as the public does their duty to sort it and bring it to its designated waste area. The 1964 Surgeon General's report concluded that smoking cigarettes causes death and disease. However, in a 1971 television interview, the president of Philip Morris denied the health risks that pregnant women and their babies face, saying that it's true that babies born from women who smoke are smaller, but they are just as healthy as the babies born to women who do not smoke. Some women would prefer to have smaller babies. Nestle the baby killer scandal. They deliberately lied to mothers in developing countries to sell their baby formula, telling them that their own milk was nutritionally insufficient and their babies would be unhealthy if they continued to breastfeed them. The result of this marketing campaign was approximately 66,000 infant mortalities. Source: https://enber.org/papers/W24452. The idea that we are separate and disconnected from each other and our environment. Edit: my first award, S. Thanks. Good timing I guess, smiley face. They are not us. OxyContin isn't addictive. Sugar isn't the problem, it's fats. Let's make everything fat-free and just triple the sugar content. A specific historical example: in 1843, a man called Hong Xiuquan claimed to be the younger brother of Jesus. This led to him starting the Taiping Rebellion, which caused the deaths of between 20 million and 70 million people. Then again, he probably believed it, so it might not count as a lie. I won't invade Czechoslovakia. Cigarette smoking is no more addictive than coffee, tea, or Twinkies. James W. Johnston. Thomas Mitchley and General Motors lying that exposure to tetraethyl lead is harmless. Tetraethyl lead was a gasoline additive present in all gasoline sold in the US until it was banned in the 70s. Almost every child growing up from 1920 to 1970 had lead poisoning to some degree. Entire generations grew up with their minds being poisoned, unable to reach their potentials because of him. Not to mention the secondary effects, lead exposure is associated with criminal behaviors. I'll do it tomorrow. I have read and agreed to the terms of use. I'm fine. Fat is the source of all evil while sugar is just fine. If we give tax breaks to the wealthy, the wealth will trickle down. Vaccine cause autism. Work will set you free. Climate change is your fault. You need to change the way you do things. Not the corporate conglomerate that's pumping 1 billion tons a year. Politicians are looking out for your best interests. That you can wake up in the morning and just rest your eyes. Iraq has weapons of mass destruction. Anthropocentrism. That the earth and nature exist to serve humans. Radium paint isn't poisonous. Thousands of watch dial workers in the US used to apply radium brushes on their tongues to paint numbers on watch dials, and almost all of these workers were women. As these workers were dying due to radiation poisoning, the companies brought in fake doctors and convinced the victims and their families that they have venereal diseases like syphilis. As this was mostly affecting women, most were scared to share it with their families for fear of retaliation and abandonment. The suffering endured by these women was extremely awful. Their jaws fell off, their bones fractured, their hair was lost, and most lost eyesight until their eventual painful death. These women were called radium girls. Eventually many fought back, settled lawsuits and brought the entire radium production industry down. Unfortunately, many innocent women lost their lives before this evil industry was brought down. Source: https://www. Britannica. com/story/radium girls, the women who fought for their lives in a killer workplace. Yeah, it's just a wooden horse, haha. That there is one true religion, and everyone should convert to it. Fëanor did nothing wrong. I'm going out for milk and cigarettes. I'll be back in an hour, Dad. One of the worst, in my opinion, is that babies need to cry it out in order to develop good sleep habits. The disconnection babies feel when they do that can lead to sociopathic behaviors. They cry for so long that they end up fainting. Their brains are rushed with cortisol over and over until they just learn that no one is coming to help them. Children can have broken sleep up into their toddler years and early childhood. Young babies need to be fed around the clock, and need to be changed. There are lots of studies as to why it is harmful, yet people swear by one dude. Fucking Ferber. Also edit, I am not here to judge people who made this choice. This is from my own informed decision about my children, and I am allowed to state what I chose and why I feel that way. You just gotta believe. You can achieve anything you want in your life if you work hard enough. That other group, religious, nation origin, etc., is the source of your problems. The cake. It's fat that's bad for us and not sugar companies. Religion. People different than you, race/religion particularly, are less than you and should be subjugated or wiped out. That we are special with the planet being made just for us. And that we are separate from other animals. I think about how destructive this was daily. If you do X, you'll be rewarded with Y in the afterlife. Thumbs up. Getting good grades secures you an easy life. The idea we need to keep purchasing new clothes to stay in the trend. That having the interior light on in the car was an arrestable offense. The Protocols of the Elders of Zion. This was a supposed documentation of a real-life international Jewish conspiracy to take over the world. It solidified past anti-Semitic thought, particularly that of blood libel, and made it more mainstream, starting in Eastern Europe and then spreading worldwide. It made its way to America as well through Henry Ford. Even after it was proven to be a forgery, the book and its hate still gets passed around today and has been very destructive to Jewish communities across the globe. It also has inspired other dangerous conspiracy theories such as Cannon's adrenochrome-related beliefs. When Thomas Midgley Jr. campaigned for lead to be put into fuel, knowing it has adverse effects on people and the environment, easily had more adverse impact on the atmosphere than any other single organism in Earth's history. 27 And Bill Bryson remarked that Midgley possessed an instinct for the regrettable that was almost uncanny. 28 Fred Pears, writing for New Scientist, described Midgley as a one-man environmental disaster. 3. Did he know the total outcome of his decisions? No, but he is still responsible. The first few days of the Chernobyl nuclear disaster. That free healthcare is communism. You have poor dying people who could be saved but will fight tooth and nail against free healthcare. The parasitic insurance companies and their paid-for politicians are laughing their asses off on the way to the bank. Our God is better than your God. The government works for your best interest. Just the tip. Too big to fail. Welcome to your modern-day slavery, taxes, and inflation. God. That some groups of people can't think for themselves. It justifies so much Western imperialism, from slavery and manifest destiny, to the invasion of countless countries that didn't align with the US interests. Road to hell is paved with good intentions. There's always a glorious excuse to hurt people if you're convinced they'd be better off that way but don't know it themselves. Climate change is not caused by human behavior. Climate change is a hoax. Religion. Corporations should have the same rights as people. Maybe not the most, but the war on drugs, completely fucked over our medical understanding in almost every way. This land is mine. Saddam Hussein is hiding weapons of mass destruction. Historically speaking, that the Jews were at fault for how things were after WWI. That religion was ever legitimately real. It's not. Otherwise, cancer would have been prayed away decades ago. Eating fats is worse than eating sugar. 1. This radium paint is perfectly safe to handle. 2. This ship is unsinkable. 3. That black boy whistled at me 45. That capitalism is the only possibility and that it always promotes freedom and prosperity. I before E except after C. It is moral to follow every law at any time. To know if this a lie or just plain incompetence, George Bush Jr. told the world there were WMDs in Iraq and subsequently pulled us into a 20-year war that cost US taxpayers over $2T that did absolutely nothing except kill a lot of innocent people and cost a lot of money. That fat in food is bad, better replace it with sugar. The election was stolen. War confers glory. Edit, actually I can just reduce that to one word, which is glory. Tax cuts for wealthy individuals and corporations spur economic growth. A study on why they don't, https://www. LSE. AC. UK/news/latest news from LSE/2020/L December/tax cuts for the rich. Get a vape pen, it will stop you from wanting to smoke. Does the complete opposite, aggravating my addiction. Meanwhile, little kid sees it. Little kid, it smells like strawberries, I want a vape pen too. Now you have little kids vaping so much their lung could be worse than mine. Climate change isn't real. Vaccines cause autism. Trickle-down economics. Take your pick. The top is the end of the world as we know it, the second is keeping many diseases around and literally killing millions of people, and the last is what enables the wealthy to continue to exploit the rest of the world. Yeah mom, I'll put the chicken out to defrost. Corporations are people. Women are less equal. Communism, everyone will be wealthy and happy, but first we must kill half of our population. Oh, and we must follow the great plan of harvesting only 3 potatoes, our great leader has calculated that it will be enough to feed 300 million people. Vaccines cause autism. Mohammad was a good man. Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. People who are different than us are evil. Global warming isn't real, and burning fossil fuels isn't harmful, every oil company. Edit, I see I pissed off some fossil fuel apologists. You dumb fuckputzes realize they're literally killing us all, right? Thanks for watching. Leave a like if you have enjoyed this video and subscribe to never miss an upload.